Well, greetings again, everyone. It's me, Nick Michalak, and the masterful Steve Frazier.
Oh, that's a new one. I like it. Thank you.
And we are doing a very special commentary today because we're circling back around to our Stephen King series of stuff we're covering.
Woohoo!
And sadly, we lost James Caan not too long ago, and we felt this was proper to do at this point in time.
Absolutely. Jimmy Caan, one of the all-time greats. He was in his 80s when he passed, and
incredible career. I mean, decade after decade, still doing new stuff and TV, film, everything you can imagine.
I'm sure we'll comment on his filmography throughout this, so more to come on him.
Yeah, so guys, we are watching the new 4K edition from Kino Lorber, so if you got that version, you're in for a treat, I'm sure. But regardless, get your timestamp over to 0 and get your subtitles turned on to follow along with the film. So we'll get synced up with a countdown, so enjoy. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
I have so many... this movie brings about so many emotions for me.
Mm-hmm.
This was the very first Stephen King novel I ever read.
Oh, okay.
And I was probably 14, I would say. Now, granted, I had grown up, watching the movies.
Mm-hmm. And,
I loved The Shining, and I loved this, and I loved all these things. And I was like, more on Rob Reiner to come.
Sure.
And, you kind of come into your own as a teenager, and you're like, what do I want to, branch out and expand and, start learning what you like?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I feel like I'm old enough now to, read one of these quote-unquote adult novels.
Sure.
And I said, well, I'm going to pick one that I already kind of know the story. I love the movie, so let me read the book. There's, Mr. Sonny Corleone himself. The end. So I start reading Misery, and it blows my mind. That the story is, even crazier in print than it was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, a lot more detail, in a novel as there could be. And I want to say, some of the changes that they made were, I think kind of for the better. But, so, I'm reading it, and it's just insane. And then that made me want to, go on a binge and read anything I could get my hands on. So, I also have a very strong memory of being, let's see, this came out in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time the Oscars happened in the spring of 1991, I was still 10 years old. You had just turned 11.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, as everyone knows, I'm such an Oscars guy.
Mm-hmm.
The 1991 Oscars is the very first award show I ever watched.
Okay.
At 10 years old, I watched it with my dad, and I have a memory. Now, I had not seen Misery at this point, but I have a memory of sitting with my dad and watching Kathy Bates accept the Oscar for this movie. And, at that point, now my dad would let me watch anything, so, it wasn't an issue that I hadn't seen it, but I think that made me want to see it. You know what I mean? So, it was my first novel. It was my first Oscars. There's a lot of special things with this movie.
And I think between you and I think this is the first commentary we're doing where someone actually won an Academy Award for the film we're commenting.
Get out of here!
I think so.
We've
had ones that were nominated, like Sigourney Weaver and Aliens, but she didn't win.
So we've done
120 or something like that.
I was going to say this might be
up there.
This might be 124 for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I know you've done more with Trent.
Yeah, because me and Trent did The Fugitive, where Tommy Lee Jones won for Best Supporting. So
right. So out of 124 commentaries, we've never covered an Oscar-winning performance.
I don't think so.
That's shocking to me. And well, then again, we do cover a lot of genre films, and those don't get recognition.
Yeah.
William Goldman.
There you go. That's a name. 2-time Academy Award winner. I looked it up.
Yeah. that was, let's see, what did he win for? It was something like back in the 60s, right?
Well, it was a Sundance Kid.
Butch Cassidy, right.
And give me a second.
William Goldman, went on to go do so many things. We're totally talking over this terrible car crash here. Great stunt. Rob Reiner, what a run Rob Reiner had.
All the President's Men was the other.
The President's Men, right.
All Redford. I'll get you to an Oscar.
God, I love All the President's Men. And there's the great Academy Award-winning Lauren Bacall.
Mm-hmm.
Caan never won an Oscar, did he?
I don't believe so.
I don't think he did. I mean, he was nominated.
I was going to say
as
probably
Sonny.
Nominated, yeah. For Godfather.
So, Rob Reiner had a 10-year career that I would say rivals any director ever.
Sure, I mean...
when you go... granted, he did...
acting and TV and stuff.
Well, yeah, first of all, he's on one of the greatest television shows of all time, All in the Family. And then he did Spinal Tap, which, is kind of a cult favorite, right?
Sure, yeah, it's not.
But to then do the run that is Stand By Me, King, Princess Bride, the...
he did the Sure Thing. I don't know. That's what you're
That's somewhere
in there.
Okay, so then you've got When Harry Met Sally, the greatest romantic comedy of all time. This, and then A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And also diversity. It's not like he's doing the same style of film. They're all very different types of films he's doing.
Right. Goldman... Now, is Goldman the one that... I always get it confused. Is Goldman the one that wrote The Princess Bride? And
yeah, he did.
Okay, so he originally wrote the novel and then wrote the screenplay.
The Criterion version's over there somewhere.
And here we have our heroine, I guess, right? This 4K looks awesome. The details of...
Yes, Goldman did write the novel and the screenplay.
Sure. This just looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, this run that he had, which is insane. And what's even crazier, and I didn't realize this until much later, that Rob Reiner is the one who not owns, I guess, but created Castle Rock Entertainment.
Yeah.
That's his company.
Yeah, after Stand By Me, he took it from the setting of the story and everything and just created it. And he got bought by Turner later on, and then that got bought by Warner Brothers. So they just ended up being a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but...
I'm not sure either. But, when I hear the words Castle Rock, I immediately think of Stephen King.
Yeah.
But... Interestingly enough, I think Stand By Me, or The Body, which is the novella that it comes from, or at least I think the movie was set in Oregon or something. So I don't know if they're... It's weird though, because Castle Rock, Maine then became the town in multiple King stories, including Needful Things, which I know...
Which was also produced by Castle Rock Entertainment.
Right. So it's this weird, circle jerk of Rob Reiner and Stephen King that have intertwined in weird ways.
And Reiner said because King wouldn't license this one out because it was too personal to him.
Okay.
But because he'd made Stand By Me, he gave it to him for $1.
That has
he trusted
become
him that much.
That has become a Stephen King trademark. He actually has a program.
Yeah, with a bunch of short stories and whatnot. He'll license.
They're called Dollar Babies.
Yeah.
And Yeah,
usually not so much like a feature film mainstream thing. It's a little bit more like, hey, if you want to
like
get
a writing
this and
project or something. Yeah,
do like a short film or something like that. Yeah, sure. It's kind of a testing program.
Right.
Flex your muscles and everything.
So it's like the ultimate honor to win a Dollar Baby from Stephen King.
Yeah.
And, see if you can adapt it or whatever. This gorgeous setting. I don't know where they filmed this at.
I didn't look. They didn't mention anything about that. I mean, most of it's all soundstage here. I don't know where the actual exteriors were.
Right.
See if I can dig a piece of that up.
Yeah, this setting is wonderful. It's almost like a stage play, and I know that they did make it into a stage play later.
Yeah, because I was watching this like, man, aside from the few odd exterior scenes,
right?
This can play as a two-person play, and it was because it was Laurie Metcalf and Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's a weird combination. Not that's bad.
No,
just not what you would think.
Look at this makeup.
Oh, yeah. It's your buddy.
Oh, Nicotero?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot that he did that. Those swollen cankles.
Your Scream Factory edition has an exclusive interview with him and Reiner on it. So
got it.
It's not on this version. Oh, Nevada. No, this can't be Nevada. I don't know.
Well, I guess it could be.
Nevada and California. That's it. Yeah, it says it was in Carson City, Nevada. Her house. So I guess it gets a little snowy up there. Usually you think Nevada is sweltering heat. I don't know.
There's got to be. Well, there's mountains.
Yeah.
So.
It must be pretty high up there.
Here is the late Richard Farnsworth, who is a goddamn delight.
He feels like a King character so much.
Yep. And he has some of the best dialogue in this movie. I know that everyone quotes Annie Wilkes,
sure.
Kathy Bates' character, and she's got 100 great lines in this movie. However, when I think of, like, misery quotes, sometimes the first ones come from him. I highly recommend, if anybody, like, super low-key, nobody's ever seen it movie, called The Straight Story, starring Richard Farnsworth. Came out in the late 90s, 98, 99, and it's actually like a true story about a guy who can't drive, so he rides his riding lawnmower from Wisconsin to, like, Iowa to visit his son or something.
Yeah.
And Imprint Films put out a copy from Australia, so I snagged it and watched it on my region free. And he was nominated, Richard Farnsworth was nominated for the Oscar that year. And
he passed away a year or two later.
Less than a year. Little did anybody know, he was riddled with cancer.
Oh, jeez.
And after the award ceremony was over, he actually took his own life.
Oh, God.
I know. It's a terrible story because he was in so much pain, and it just broke my heart because I'm like, oh, it's Buster.
Yeah.
I know that the novel does a better job, but they do a great job of building the rapport and and watching her, like, slowly go crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's...
Let the crazy seep out of her.
Right. Like, at this point, she is a true hero.
Yeah.
Heroine, whatever.
Yeah.
She's confessed to being a nurse.
Yeah.
interesting that Misery is the name of the character.
All right. I found that very clever because I didn't know the context of that. It's like, okay, it's a nice double-edged sword for King to put that
right.
the way it is.
Yeah. And at this point, it's a very plausible scenario here, right?
Yeah.
Storm comes through. You know, the roads are just opening, but the phone lines are down.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nicotero did a great job on all of this makeup. She earns every minute of this Oscar.
God damn straight.
She is able to go from... I'm interested.
Almost, there's certain moments where she just looks absolutely adorable in the film.
Right. And then she becomes the crazy bitch, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. And Reiner was kind of telling her, don't take this character home with you. Find a way to kind of detach it and not be like super method actor type of person 24/7 with it. Just like, this will ruin you if you do that. So, that was a nice thing from a director who is an actor and knows how certain actors work.
Right.
Yeah, don't let this friggin' just wreck you inside. Bolo tie.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you know what makes him a great cop?
He's got a hat and a coat.
And a coat with a fur collar. That's right. Because if you don't have a fur collar coat, you are no sheriff. I don't know if this was slightly supposed to be a play on him, because I feel like slightly autobiographical, because I feel like he did finish a novel at the Stanley Hotel.
Okay.
In Colorado.
Okay.
Which was the hotel that became the inspiration for The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that, in Paul Sheldon's case, they made it, he always goes there every time.
Right.
And whatever, but, with King it might have been once. And
on the disc I didn't see that there was any interviews with King to kind of talk about where the story came up with and any kind of particular meanings certain things have.
This is the first glimpse that she is maybe a little off.
Yeah.
And to this day, God damn it, 32 years later, I swear to God, if I don't say one big bastard of a check because of this scene. Because she just, she flips a switch here. Bitchley Cowcorn. Christing money. And
the nice tremble she's got.
The little tremble, right? And the pause is so perfect, right?
Yeah.
That escalated even in her delivery of the examples, quote unquote. And then look what you made me do.
Right.
Is wait, what? And now, look at the soft.
Oh yeah. But still a little intimidating how she's doing. She's not a big smile. She's a little bit more kind of like. She still says a little. The expression on her face is still a little creepy in a way. almost possessive in a certain way.
Right. Well, yeah, because, I mean, she is 100% in control of this situation. And these exteriors are just unbelievable.
Breathtaking.
Yeah.
Now, this was photographed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who'd go on to be a director, do the Addams Family movies, Men in Black, and a whole bunch of other things.
Sure.
And I think because I was reading up trivia about Tango and Cash recently. I think he was the original cinematographer on that, but Stallone fired him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That'd been like right before he did this.
What is he doing with that little tiny coffee cup, by the way? And these two have the single best dynamic.
Oh yeah, Frances Sternhagen is awesome. She did the film Outland with Sean Connery. She's incredible in that film with him.
I have never seen that one.
Yeah, a really fucking good sci-fi flick. So the film's a little bit of a grind getting into it, but once you get Sean Connery moving in the film, it's just really fantastic.
I love that he's just a bloodhound.
Oh yeah. There's a thing they're commenting on is like, he never really kind of expels what he's thinking.
Right.
He kind of keeps it bottled up till he has a definitive conclusion about that.
It's kind of Columbo-esque, you
A
know.
little bit.
It's coy. It's
keep
the wheels turning.
Wheels going in the head, and it's like, let me continue to process this instead of like, here's everything I'm thinking, tell it to the audience, stuff like that.
Right.
It keeps it more interesting for the audience.
Agreed.
How close is he to getting to the truth of it? Need some help.
I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
These two are the highlight of the movie. I mean,
they're electric.
Great, beautiful shot. And you know, every good movie needs these, you know, window characters to kind of tell the story from the other side. You know what I mean? I always found it incontinuous that this road appears to be completely paved and shoveled, and whereas in the scene just before he tells her to stop the car, they're like slushing through the...
Sure, yeah, a little
and I'm
bit.
like, oh, so the roads haven't even been plowed, and then they're like completely plowed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, it's fine. That's just me nitpicking. It's fine, he says. The brand new one. So, these days of pre-cell phone and whatever, you can see that, like, she's trying to cover her ass.
Yeah.
So, it's I like the timing of the new Misery's Child book.
Yeah.
Because it allows her to spam. I love spam. It allows her to put down the new one.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
the filthy slut.
Right. The Christing pig feed.
Yeah. And with that news story, I get it from Paul's point of view, kids. If he's writing something about kids and stuff like that,
Some
in New
kids,
York,
right.
Yeah, of course they talk like that all the time, but out here in
Colorado or wherever they are,
small town, mountainous little town, that's not as much of the thing, especially when she's got the cross around
I was just
going
to say, the cross is such a perfect thing. And these idyllic scenes, I mean, it looks like Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
So,
straight up. I don't know if they actually built the house out there or they just found something and got permission to shoot it. Because obviously you got to build the interior around more or less what you see outside.
I always just kind of assumed that the outside was fake.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, they didn't go into like saying if they just randomly found a location that suited what they wanted or they just built something out in the valley there.
Pigs are cute.
Oh, boy.
She named
he's
her
flattered,
pig.
yes. The writer was so much like, I want to take the most physical fucking actor. The guy's got all this fucking nervous energy in his performances and just stick him in a bed for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Because Caan's so much that he likes to lean into his scene and use that body language so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's Italian, he talks with his hands, it's...
Yeah, I mean...
what's the ceiling that Dago painted?
She is kind of adorable there. Kind of want to give her a big hug at certain point.
A little bit.
She's a little bit on that edge. Then she goes off the other edge.
I
want to run screaming.
The range of emotions that she, I mean, just even from that scene to this scene.
I mean, it was very, very interesting. One of the old DVD extras, they actually brought in a psychologist to break down her personality traits.
Okay.
And it's like she basically runs the whole gamut of everything. She's psychotic, she's sadomasochistic, she's whatever else you got on the plate. Bipolar, everything. But it still links together as a frenetic personality. And you can see the kind of the nervous anxiousness about what he's doing there.
And it's nice that they've got exposition here that doesn't feel...
And then you see trying to take a piss. That's why he's so anxious. It's not an easy thing, I'll tell you that.
She said that, before she was on chapter whatever, now she's only got 2 chapters left.
Oh, yeah.
So the passage of time...
Right. It, yeah.
And I love that she's just shaking around this piss.
Yeah, yeah. And he keeps looking, he's like, he's spilling that shit.
Now, do you wonder if part of him at this point is thinking, she's probably not going to like the ending to this book? I don't know. Because...
It's a little trepidation,
I do feel like, at this point, he's gone from...
Thankful.
Right, to a little,
awkward, anxiety-ridden.
Oh my God. Who did is such a great line.
Oh.
Like, this is, I mean, what a hold your breath moment.
Oh, yeah.
And this could be considered like a midpoint, but it's not yet.
No.
Not even.
We're not even close to it yet.
But I'm saying, like, the turn, like, when she reveals herself to be absolutely crazy, is this.
Yeah, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I mean,
the shot selection, all this type of stuff.
It's impeccable.
Especially the lenses, because Sonnenfeld's like, he actually did like almost like screen test type of things with Kathy Bates. Like, let me try out a couple of different lenses, because Reiner didn't know as much about technical stuff.
Sure.
So it's like, let me try a couple of different lenses, see how it works for the performances. Like, just a slightly wider angle lens is just kind of slightly exaggerated when you get right into the face. It just creates a little bit more, like almost, it's jumping out at you in a certain way.
Right, almost like a funhouse kind of, you know, like a...
It just makes a slightly more intense experience.
I mean, to think that reveal happens 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
So we're like a third of the way.
Oh, yeah.
And it is only now a natural progression, right? For him to say...
How the fuck do I get out of here?
Right. I need out of this situation.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, you just...
With two broken legs.
Yeah. So much thing. Every time like a painful moment's coming, you can feel it, like living hell.
Like, watch his face.
Shit.
Like...
And look at that makeup down there, man. The swelling and everything.
My old friend, Greg Nicotero.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those feet.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine. I think my dad once broke his leg when I was a kid, because he was he used to ref like high school hockey games and whatnot. I think he had broken his leg on the ice, and the only thing I remember is like my dad had laid out in the back seat, my mom driving him to the hospital.
Huh.
I was really young. That's all I remember. But I'm sure it hurt like living hell. Ugh.
And I love the low to the ground. Like, it's all perspective shots, right?
Oh, yeah. Got one good limb.
I mean, you could...
Oh,
you could very easily have done the crawl to the door from, like, the window point of view and watched, like, a wide shot of his angst or his attempt or whatever.
Yeah.
But
you want to see that
the fact that it's in his face, down on the ground.
Face. You want to have that, so it's like straining to get another inch forward. Wonderful sweater. Real cozy. I'd love to have that.
There's something about this kind of small town feel.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, this whatever setting they picked.
Yeah.
And he's got, this sweater on, and it feels so cozy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
The town, it feels like this tight-knit community. And now, the next scene, she's got this very loving...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything ever happened.
Apologetic.
Right. It's as if it never happened. Right.
Oh. God damn.
Those swollen feet.
Out of control, man.
I don't remember them ever looking that bad.
Yeah.
And this 4K, I think, is really the...
punching up the color, the detail.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
She's really tucking him in.
Oh, yeah.
And that little line about the witness stand in Denver is such a... She just threw it in so casually.
Yeah. It just floors me, man. 100%.
I know. I'm
just thinking, like, on the set, there's no way you can't know this is just the best thing you've ever seen.
Gold, yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily, like, classify Kathy Bates in that category of, like, attractive movie stars. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, she's not a beautiful woman. But she is... There's something about her that is... like magnetic.
Oh, yeah.
And now, when I saw this movie, it was probably shortly after the Oscars. So I was probably 11 when I saw it. And I was a little confused the first time I watched it. Because he's got this new book, but then she's also reading the current book.
Okay.
And which one is he burnt? I was a little confused as to, you know, the kind of the progression of whatever.
Yeah. But as the language is definitely like, okay, it's in the satchel that he had at the beginning of the film where he put the manuscript in and everything. So
right, but then she starts reading that one, and so it's like I was a little confused as to which one she was reading. Yeah,
not picking up quite as much context.
Right.
Yeah, Reiner said he went back. He just studied like every Hitchcock film there is to know exactly what type of angles they use, what kind of cuts, what inserts to grab.
This is a very Hitchcockian kind of setup. And at this point, Stephen King is a brand.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
And
look at this with the lighter fluid. There's so many things about this that are like hold your breath moments.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The what if I was in this situation mentality makes you absolutely like this is not a horror movie. You know what I mean? Like in the like
I don't mind them classifying it as
I don't either, but
even Rob Reiner says it's a little bit more of a thriller.
Right. I mean it's 100% like
because there's so much tension in this fucking movie. Caan is you got to have the two parts. If you didn't have someone as good as Caan, it would feel way off balance. But he's so good playing these moments of fear.
I don't even think that he was the first choice.
Oh no, they had like Robert Redford and Richard Dreyfuss and like any like A-list guy they're kind of like thinking of because he wasn't entirely certain about Caan because he was so almost like macho in a certain way. A lot of his roles are a little bit more on the macho side of tough guy stuff. So, but he's like,
well, actually,
thought he was absolutely perfect after a while.
Isn't that an Oogie Mess? Is a great Kathy Bates or Annie Wilkesism?
Yeah.
I know. Shortly after, little peek behind the curtain here. Shortly after you finished watching this the other day, and you text me, you referenced the cock-a-doodle, which I think is everybody's like first favorite Wilkesism. In fact, that so not just so much the line, but the context of the line in continuity.
Yeah.
Because she's questioning the continuity. And I guess we'll get there. But I have my friend Kristen, who I had the Oscar Talk website with.
Yeah.
recently was watching, she was catching up on a TV show.
Sure.
And sent me a text and was pissed about some continuity. And in the text it said he didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car. And in reference to any continuity error.
Sure.
Like, it's become the phrasing for any and all continuity error, and I just love it.
Throw her at a Halloween franchise or a Friday the 13th, like, she wouldn't last.
Did you see we might be getting a new Friday the 13th movie? Did you see this news?
We'll see what happens. Cunningham can be a little full of himself sometimes. But talking about that scene, it's like...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just imagine, it's like, you've finished something... Just the context of someone forcing you to destroy something you just finished creating.
Correct.
And you have no backup copy. This is it. It's gone forever. Then you add in the whole thing of, like, he's been writing Misery for so long, and now this is the thing that's going to, like, okay, I'll put that to rest. I'm going to break out and do something different with my life.
Right.
I'm going to express something else. Now it's like, all the freedoms are taken away. You've been just destroyed.
The Cheetos.
The Coke.
She's got her little pig stuffed animal.
Well, Sheldon Memorial.
News clip. Well, that looks like the current one, right?
Yeah,
the missing ones. And just another little stupid thing about how happy as a clam she is sitting in her bedroom.
Oh, yeah, and he's just, fuck. What am I doing?
And, you know, she was a nurse in a hospital, so she even served Jell-O on the...
Yeah, just fucking hospital food.
Right, it looks like hospital food.
Canned ham and fucking cheese and everything.
Dude, do not underestimate fried Spam. I realize it's total hobo food, but as somebody who eats corned beef hash, like, on the regular, I do not discount canned meat. There is a place in this world for fried Spam. That thing looks like it's archaic. It was probably new at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And now they can cover up the...
Yeah.
They get away with not having makeup on them at this point, you know. And the control there, you know. And it's funny because, like, okay, so let's take this from the point of view of Stephen King.
Sure.
Who is, at this point, the most famous author in the world.
Yes.
And has situations where I'm sure fans are upset with the way that he ends his
certain novels,
stories. Yeah. Not to say that they were a series of novels, and that, you know, but just in general.
Characters, but yeah.
Right, just in general. And the idea that somebody would be so upset that, like, they would make up a title and force the writer to, like, change course is...
I've always felt, even before I saw the films, like, King probably has had nightmares.
Right.
He can put himself in this situation and be very much easy to extrapolate the terror of it all.
It's missing an N.
Mm-hmm.
Aw. And that look right there, holy shit. It's the you ingrate.
Yeah. You're not grateful for what I did.
Smudge.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point now he's fearing for his life is trying to be accommodating and inclusive. It's here we go.
Mm-hmm.
You ingrate is all this says.
Mm-hmm. It's 4K. I can see the freaking veins in her freaking eyes.
Yeah.
It had so much.
Mr. Man,
I love that.
Yeah.
Mmm. Oh.
It's so good.
And the thing I kept thinking about, this is what the new Screen film tried to do.
Explain.
Well, the whole thing with toxic fandom. Overly obsessed fans who go way too far. Who are just like completely obsessed with everything. And will go to all the extreme, irrational lengths to like bury people because you've ruined this thing for me that I love so much, and all this other stuff like that. Is like, it was trying to do this, it didn't get anywhere close to as good as this does it.
I doubt that this was the first of its kind.
Yeah. But that was just the thing. I was like, I started thinking about this thing. It's like, yeah.
Oh, this old trick. Everything about these scenes just builds tension. There's no music right now.
No.
And I think that is a really interesting choice.
Yeah.
I know you pay a lot more attention to music than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, it worked. Look at that facial expression. So
you don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Well, no, it's desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's no music really...
Well, I think there's at least a moment. Okay, she's going off to town, so there's at least a sense that you've got to maybe got 10, 15 minutes or whatnot.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. It's Liberace.
Of course. And a telephone. The saving grace. With no guts in it.
Uh-huh.
What a great line. So simple.
Oh, yeah.
Jeep Cherokees, we got U-Haul.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is every grandma's house, right?
Oh, yeah. Straight up.
Good catch.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's a little on the nose, but I like that they made it so obvious that he put it back the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Because that creates an underlying tension. She's going to notice it eventually. When is it going to come up?
Right. And you think, oh, gee, who has a shrine to their favorite author in their living room? And then I go, oh, wait.
Well.
Oops. Guilty.
Sure. We're not psychos.
I'll see if I can, I'll send out a tweet with my, my living room collection. Just kind of how I have everything laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Funny that he thinks to put that back correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So quickly after not thinking to do the other one.
Yeah.
Always bothered me a little bit. But again...
It's almost, well, because it's more the fact that on the penguin thing, he probably wasn't even really noticing how it was. He just saw that it was falling and just put it back.
Right.
He didn't even think about it. The other one, he was clearly looking directly at it, so...
In these old farmhouses, you can't even get through the...
It's a few inches too narrow.
There was no Americans with Disabilities Act in the 1800s.
Sure, yeah. See all the stubble on his face. His transfer is fabulous.
I mean, he's got his own razor. I don't know why he wouldn't just shave himself.
Sure.
Thing looked like a Cadillac. It looked like one of those old remote controls from the 80s, you know, where it was a brick.
Uh-huh.
And what a great job here of setting this tension, because she's on her way back.
Yeah.
And he's not even all the way to where he wants to go yet, let alone...
And even then, the thing is like, okay, even if he gets out, what's he going to
do?
He can't,
right.
I mean, he's got 2 broken legs. He couldn't drive a car. He was
trying
like hell.
Hide in the snow? Like,
right.
You can't contact anybody.
Can't contact anyone. He doesn't have a coat or anything. He's going to freeze his ass off. But his desperation, anything possible. He's got no phone.
The range of emotion
Uh-huh.
on the facial expressions in this movie, all throughout the entire movie.
Again, the use of the close-ups so much. It's so good.
It's, oh shit.
God, fucking hell.
This is just a masterclass in editing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Reiner worked with the same editor regularly.
Robert Lighton. Great with the sweat on him.
plodding of her feet.
Yeah.
Just enough to give you a little extra.
Yeah.
I mean, she's already frazzled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now he's got to lock the door again.
Lock it.
The match cuts here with the unlocking and the locking.
Yeah.
I mean, super close up.
Yeah. Superb. I got it. I don't know if we got any other nominations.
I don't think so.
Not from the Oscars, no.
So she was the only nomination that year?
For the Oscars, yes. You know, something else called the 2020 Awards, and then the Saturn Awards, so on and so forth, critics stuff. She also won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
Something.
She left the door open, which is interesting. The up and down of her character, it's exceptional. And, I mean, not just her acting of it, but the writing of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, her fandom overwhelms her at a certain point, but then she doesn't want to alienate Paul, because she still wants him to do everything that she still loves him.
Well, there's a means.
There's a means to an end to continue her fascination and her obsession and everything.
Right. If she gets too out of hand, then what she wants will not come to fruition.
Right. Oh, she's both fucking terrifying and delightful in the same moment there. You just push the smile a little bit further, then you get into the wacko territory. It's like, oh boy.
State Patrol. Colorado, it says. So, it is set in Colorado.
Yes. Her car had a
Colorado plate.
Yeah.
Which also is one of those weird, it leads me to believe that it was slightly based on that Stanley Hotel.
Possibly, yeah.
There's a little cameo here by Michael McKean.
No, that's a different actor.
Oh, it's not Michael McKean. No. It's a guy that looks just like Michael McKean.
I think he's in Needful Things. I think so. I could probably... No, it's J.T. Walsh, yeah.
J.T. Walsh. Yeah.
Yeah, he...
Who goes on to be one of the main characters in A Few Good Men.
Okay.
God, A Few Good Men is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is in Needful Things. He's Danforth. Danforth Keaton III.
Sure he is. Sure he is. Yeah, my bad there.
Like,
I knew you, as John Candy would say. At this point, he might be questioning whether it's even a narcotic at all, you know?
Well, yeah, that was the thing. It's like when you started doing this, I wasn't sure, like, is this something that isn't making him better and he's kind of, like, hiding it away to fool her? But then as they progress, it's like, oh, okay, he's setting up something. I know that feeling.
Oh, same. Did you see the little smile?
Yeah.
Just a hint?
Mm-hmm.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, fuck me.
You'd think that he would be conscious of her going through the trash section, you know, and like...
Sure.
Do people actually write on typewriter? I mean, I guess they did.
I'd imagine so. Here we go. That sounds like something King would do. Some obsessed, neurotic fan. I'm going to name the Gravedigger after you.
Mr. Man.
Fabulous.
She's so passionate.
Uh-huh.
That, what are you getting at?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodle car. Brilliant. So now he's burned his book, started a new one, and then had to throw that one out too.
Mm-hmm.
Can you even imagine the pressure of...
Oh, yeah.
Like doing it again and knowing that your life depends on whether she happens to enjoy what you've written.
Be able to be creative and write and be able to disconnect yourself from what you're going through, but also have it fuel you in a certain way. It's very, almost impossible.
So, one of the fun little things about the novel is that, well, they casually mentioned here that the typewriter did not have the letter N, and that she would pencil them all in for her. So, right here.
Yeah.
And in the novel, Misery, at this point in the story, Stephen King has full chapters of his novel where you're reading Misery's Return as he's writing it.
Okay.
So it's like a novel within the novel.
Okay.
And it's written, the chapters are written in typewriter font, and all the ends are handwritten in, and it's brilliant. It's like, it's...
That had to take some effort on the printer's end.
Yes. That look. That was a little fuzzy.
Yeah. The fact she just keeps thinking, like, because he keeps pushing her off while they're on duty.
Yeah.
He's off shacking up with some chick.
The small town affairs that he's dealing with, juxtaposed by the... She's very purposefully showing you every title into the screen. Oh, real spice. And later on, when he says, "There's that spice again," damn it, if I don't quote that all the time.
I like that old thing. She propped up the table for him.
And I don't know if you noticed in that shot, the penguin is turned around the other way, the correct way.
Ah, nice.
You see, in the front there,
everything.
it is facing the correct direction.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know if that was intended. I don't know if that's a cockadoodie car
she
continuity.
She does mention it later on that she was aware that he escaped before, but she's not making a thing out of it because...
She didn't know how. Right.
Didn't know how, and also just like, he's being very accommodating, so she's got nothing really to be upset about if he's not going to do something more severe. Spam and ground beef.
Yeah, you got to mix it in.
The gourmet.
I have never thought of that. But now, I kind of want to make a meatloaf and mix a little Spam in. That is a big glass of wine. Mm-hmm. That's totally fine. This is one of those, I can't remember the brand. It's one of those jugs that, like discount wine.
Yeah. It's interesting. She has both hardcover and the paperbacks.
Oh, all of them.
Each edition.
Right. Yeah, you bet.
So I wasn't sure, like, did he write like fucking 18 novels or something?
No, it's only like 8.
About 8. But it's very telling. Everyone's got to get the variants. You got to get your steelbook copy.
Right, yeah.
Your digital book.
So Stephen King's written 60-some novels, and he's got 10 or 12 collections of short stories.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. And I have several of them repeated. As I was collecting them, or purchasing them initially, I was just doing the paperbacks.
Sure.
But then I got into collecting the hardcovers, too, so there were some repeats.
Takes a little traction to get into that, yeah.
Right. And then probably starting... Well, the very first one that I ever bought, brand new, like as it came out, was The Green Mile in 1996. Maybe 95. Somewhere in there. And The Green Mile was written in chapters like this. Mm-hmm. Like as she was talking about the chapter plays. It's a 6-part. Oh, what a mess. And there goes the whole plan. What have I done is right. Oof. So, The Green Mile was released in 6 parts, one little mini book each month for 6 months.
Okay.
And so you had, and they were like $4.99 or something. So it ends up costing you a shitload of money. But
sure.
You bought, one little book, and then you read. It took you a day, and then you had to wait a month, and then on the first of the next month, the next part would come out. And so that is the first one I remember like buying brand new. But they were all, there was no hardcover because it was little tiny paperbacks. And this is a great montage to show passage of time.
Oh, yeah.
And even Rocky had a montage. So, and everybody's reading.
Yeah.
And I was reading Stephen King earlier today on my couch. So, starting in probably 2000, 2001, trying to think what one it was. It might have been Dreamcatcher. It might have been From a Buick 8. One of those. I was like, I got to have the newest King novel. Because around that, shortly before that was when he had his accident. And he was laid up for a while. Similar to this.
Yes, indeed.
And so since then, so for the last, 20, 22 years, I've just been buying them new in hardcover and not been buying the paperbacks.
Yeah.
So I had to, I still am catching up, and buying.
Right.
In fact, I actually just bought a first edition Misery.
Okay.
Because all I had was the paperback. And I came across one on eBay, and I said, oh, first edition Misery, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, it's the little things. I have almost the entire collection in one form or the other. There were certain ones, like the Dark Towers, I just never got into. So I haven't purchased all of the sequels in that. There's like 8 or 9 books, so.
Here's the depression scene.
Yep. And they made her hair a mess. Granted, maybe she's just out of the shower or whatever, but.
Yeah.
Oof. I love that the makeup, now he's only got the little scar on the
nice
bridge.
Progression, subtle.
Because we really don't know
how many weeks,
right. Right, like, what's your end game here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, boy.
What an added element here, right? What a line. What a line. I have this gun.
Oh. The look will do everything, man.
Even the makeup on her eyes.
Yeah. She's a little pasty.
They're like the red on the bottoms there.
Mm.
The thunder crack is good.
Reiner's like, I gotta get one Dutch angle in here somewhere. I've been watching too much Hitchcock not to. And she goes out in her freaking bathrobe and her slippers somewhere. It's very...
just for a drive or whatever.
Something,
right?
Yeah.
You feel like this has got to be a lot easier for him now, right?
Yeah. And the ambiguity of the passage of time kind of makes his character even more interesting because it's been like maybe 3-4 weeks now and he's still dogged on this thing. It makes him more interesting still.
Buster?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've absolutely read Stephen King novels and written down quotes before. So, I mean, you gotta wonder, like, how many people were Annie Wilkes inspired by?
Oh, yeah.
This is everything I love about movies, right? The scrapbooks and clippings and it does say a ton about her character too, that that she would keep these mementos of
very
her
morbid stuff,
right?
Yeah.
Of her own underhandedness.
Because there's some twisted way she thinks it's all altruistic to some reason.
I'm sure.
It's almost nice that she doesn't go on like a spiel in the whole film explaining all this stuff.
Right.
It's enough of a narrative here. It's like all these baby killings and stuff like that, where it's like
her husband's dead.
Her husband's dead, and
nurses are dead, and babies are dead.
Right.
It's like, oh. Parents of dead babies are dead.
Yeah.
It really does make her an unlikable person.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we didn't dislike her before.
Right.
Dragon Lady. It's interesting, the timeline of that, because like she kept newspaper clippings. Like, it's okay, so it's one thing if you've got a scrapbook of your own trial and your coverage of you.
Yeah.
But the fact that she had clippings of like when her husband died and like all the way back.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a storytelling device, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they didn't think that deep into it. But to me, that makes it even that much crazier that she's been documenting or,
documenting her persecution.
Right, yeah. Well, documenting her own,
psychosis.
Everything, like all of her nefarious acts.
Yeah.
And keeping the mementos, I guess. And now he's got this Michael Myers kitchen knife.
Yeah.
The tension, no music, the slow zoom. The bed sheets look like Nancy Thompson's pajamas.
Yes.
Even that is a beautiful shot of the... And what's even, we were talking about what's your end game. They both have the same problem. If both of them eliminate the other, they can't win.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
like if he kills her right now, what's he gonna do?
Right.
I mean, I guess at this point he could be. He's more mobile.
Yeah.
You know, and he could figure something out, even if it's hobbling to the next, town or whatever.
Something,
neighbor's house or whatever. Although I believe in the novel she also killed, like, her neighbors.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I'm fuzzy on that, but...
Well, there's anything how they use the location here. There's clearly no one around for a couple miles.
Right.
Uh-oh.
So good. Notice, we don't know if this is the same night, but we assume it is, right?
Yeah.
That now she's got hair and makeup. Like she's done herself up.
Yeah.
And that look, oof.
He's coming down from some good shit, man.
And I do think it's interesting that this is probably the most famous scene in the movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you had no knowledge of this as you
I know about the scene because
okay.
it's been parodied a few times or something like that,
okay.
referenced some places, but it wasn't any less effective. There we go. So much tension.
And what I think is interesting is that this scene in the movie is very different.
Yes, it is.
Very different than what happens in the book. I mean, maybe not very different.
Significant.
Her casual analogy.
Yeah.
As far as I recall in the novel, she cuts off his foot.
Yeah, she chops it off with an axe.
With an axe, yeah.
And Reiner felt like it's a little too far to go for. I don't know if they're trying to think that there's still.
Oh my God.
I think it was more focused on Sheldon that he could come through the other end of this and still be.
Oh my God.
Christ. Oh, it's Nicotero, man.
They don't even have to show the second one.
Yeah, Nicotero, when he first saw the film, was like, oh man, I wonder you wanted to see the second one, but as Nicotero's even done directing since then, he's like, yeah, he understands.
Yeah.
It's a filmmaking thing.
Now, so here's a fun story. On the night that I sat with Greg Nicotero for 2 hours and drank wine
yes.
and listened to him tell stories, we got into a discussion. My best friend, shout out to Randy, asked him about the werewolf turn in American Werewolf versus The Howling.
Okay.
And we got into...
Sure, yeah.
We got in... You cock-a-doodie.
You cock-a-doodie.
We got into... They got into a discussion about which was the more effective werewolf turn.
Okay.
Okay? And the Greg Nicotero says that I'm pretty sure the way he explained it was that the effects were better in American Werewolf in London. However, it's the one in The Howling because you get the other person's reaction.
Yes.
And it's the reaction shot that makes it so
Wallace.
effective. Of Dee Wallace, right.
Ah.
Okay. He was having dinner with Dee Wallace about an hour prior to this.
He's delightful.
Anyway, where's the thing? There's that spice again. So it makes complete sense to me now in hindsight. Now, this is the first time I've watched it since I've had that conversation with Greg Nicotero. Yeah. When he talks about how in The Howling, it's the reaction shot that makes the turn so effective. Yeah. Because without it, there's no context.
Right.
And how here it's perfect, right? Because they show you the first one.
Yeah.
Just enough to give you an idea of what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's the reaction shot on the second one.
Yeah.
God damn you, Greg Nicotero. I love you.
Yeah. And just the fact, I mean, the editing one thing, but also Caan's selling it so fucking much.
And look at that.
Mm-hmm.
There's the quote. It happens to be the one that he wrote down, which is a little, but
it's
good enough.
Something in his brain that he knew familiar that was like, peculiar quote that stuck in his head.
It is possible, right? So now, what makes it okay is the fact that the paper happened first.
Yeah,
and so he can very easily claim that he remembers that from somewhere.
Yeah,
and that makes sense.
Yeah. And that might have been not just the newspaper article, he probably saw it on the TV and the radio or something like that. It probably got repeated a few times.
Right. So, whereas in the bed scene, it looks like he's just jotting down a quote that he likes. Yeah. It comes to be that he's actually jotting down a quote that he thinks he knows from somewhere.
Because the whole thing, when you see like he's bought all the novels, like how is all that going to link up to finding Sheldon and all that type of stuff, and finding that her fandom reciprocates into the thread of the mystery, the investigation stuff.
Right.
Roots.
So
those tapes would go for a little bit at the Goodwill.
So this actually speaks to the boom of home video.
Oh, yeah.
And how, I know we've joked about it on here all the time, but I remember the time when every gas station,
every convenience store,
rented videos.
Yeah.
And so that is a time capsule of that era. Now, so it's interesting that I was always curious what the actual line is, because he says not a thing, according to the subtitles. However, when I watched this as a kid, he didn't enunciate that a lot. I always thought he said one thing.
Okay.
Which, to me...
the old analog VHS audio.
Right. That made it more like he knew. Like, it was... You know what I mean?
I mean, me watching it now is like, it's him not trying to lay on to anything.
Right. Right, but you can see how changing that dialogue to one thing means, like, that's it, I got it, I got it.
You fucking bash my fucking ankles in.
Right by the Weber grill that
charred up his fucking future.
Yeah, he had to roast those big bastards of a check and his effing pig feed. She has beautiful eyes.
Oh, yeah.
$45. So this can't be accurate, right? That Caan is 45 in this movie? That can't be. It can't be. He's got to be 55.
Probably.
Because he was almost 85 when he died this year. I think he was 82 or something, right? So he...
Born in 1940.
Okay, so he would have been 50.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it... It would make her feel suspicious, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, I was watching this the first time. It's like the tension in the scene, man. Just like you don't know which is going to go off.
Right. I wonder what that photo is. It's it's an actual stock photo of James Caan, at a wedding.
Something.
Which... How crazy. He's got to be thinking that she's crazy.
Oh.
Great hat.
Oh, yeah.
He is a delight.
Oh, yeah. I like how she's playing. She's not trying to be like hide all the stuff. It's not like in Clue was like we gotta fake everything and play it up like nothing's wrong here or something like that and hide all the fucking
shaboom.
Close up the lounge and the study and everything.
I love this.
She's very
they
much.
Both
she's got a cover story for everything.
The art decoration, or set decoration,
yeah.
Art direction in this movie is brilliant. And I know it's stupid, right? Like, it's just old house.
Yeah.
But the way that they made it feel like every grandma's house.
Yeah.
I never understood that trend of putting like the net kind of thing over the lampshade, the fishnet looking thing. It was a decorative trend. That look on her face too of the because we know that she doesn't take too well to ingrates.
Yeah.
Another great close-up.
Oh, yeah.
Great tracking shot, or steady cam, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great bit.
Amazing. Greg Nicotero.
Oh, yeah, straight up.
The smoking gun, literally. Oof.
Oof.
So now, at this point, even as a viewer, you kind of don't think that murder-suicide is
the end game.
Right.
It's coming around. No.
Right. But now it looks like...
Whoa,
because you don't assume that she's crazy, but you don't assume she's capable of it because,
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if you look back, it makes sense because she had that great line, "I have this gun."
Yeah.
And sometimes I think about using it, she says, which you could mean against him or could be against herself. And,
yeah.
And there's also been these stories of, the number one fan murdering, this was prior to Selena.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah, Christ.
The guy that killed John Lennon, right, was allegedly a number one fan type thing,
yeah,
right?
Just, oof.
So, what a way, if you're psychotic, what a way to be forever linked to the person that you idolize the most, right?
Yeah.
Because your name and that person's name are forever joined.
Say we're not endorsing this.
No. No. I'm using my psychopathic logic.
They're just...
Right, I'm not going to go, murder Paul Stanley or Tommy Shaw just so that I can be associated with them forever. Or Stephen King, for that matter.
We've covered enough people in the commentaries, but we've not really said much about, but Heather Langenkamp, Daniel Harris, a few of them had stalker problems across their careers.
She leaves it at the top of the stairs. Fucking figure it out yourself, dude.
Climb over the dead body, too.
The missing ends.
Yeah.
But it is a very interesting read to have entire chapters of the Misery novel be actually chapters of Misery's return.
Yeah, okay.
So, in that sense, you get to, read the story with Annie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So... Dom Perignon is so good.
And he doesn't correct her either. I like that.
Right.
He still mispronounces it. Now she's at his beck and call and everything.
Right.
She's worshipping him again.
Lucky Strikes, of course.
And the gun.
Moe and Shanda, as made famous by the Queen song. They made themselves famous, but most people had never heard of them until the Queen put them in their lyrics. This time there's no ingrate.
No.
Oh, here he comes. If she didn't earn this fucking Oscar...
God damn it, man.
I don't even remember who the other people were that were nominated that year. I may or may not have even seen those movies. Clearly I didn't when I was 10. Talk about another Right, so he's literally doing it again. He's literally burning a second brand new novel with no copies.
There you go. Best actress. Who won? Angelica Houston, The Grifters.
Oh.
Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman. Meryl Streep, Postcards from the Edge, and Joanne Woodward for Mr. and Mrs. Bridget. Mr. and Mrs. Bridge? Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
She beat out your arch nemesis.
Yeah, that's true. Thank the baby Jesus.
And then the Queen of the Oscars.
She's got that blunt force trauma. I mean, she does have a bloody head, but... Notice she called him a lying cocksucker. Like,
scrapping, man. I like it.
Oh, shot him. The lunge. I love the lunge.
Goldberg here.
Now, you assume that was it, right? There's only 2 bullets?
Yeah.
Because one for each of them?
Yeah. Love this, man.
This is, what a great...
That's some real actors, you could tell. There's no... Maybe in the wide shot
love that
a stunt double, but...
I love that he shoves it in her mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
Ow. And he uses the leg to trip her. And...
Oh.
What a great shot, right?
Oh, yeah.
She comes down on the edge of the typewriter.
Yeah. Another fake head from Greg.
Look at that shot.
Yeah,
this
waste
aerial
of it
view. I mean, the broken glass, the charred manuscript, the cigarette still smoking. Oh wait, no, he never lit it. That's smoke from the ashes. Yeah. Okay, sorry. I was about to be real impressed there for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, and they all come back. There's always a comeback, right? So, I was at a barbecue place in Missouri.
Okay.
And I stop, usually I take a vacation every year and we stop at the same place.
Oh.
And they had one of those. Barbecue place had the cement pig door stopper. So I took a photo of it and posted it on my Instagram, and I think it just said misery.
She's dead now, you can tell that.
Look at that face, yeah.
These two are phenomenal in this whole thing. I mean, again, just like, they keep aside from like one wide shot, they keep it tight in there, so it's like, it's the actors doing it.
Right.
They didn't grab those stunt people. They're still scrapping and fucking doing shit again. It's fabulous.
Look at these outfits, these suits. Everybody on New York just wearing a suit. How could it not be a best-selling novel from a guy that was assumed dead and, it's his comeback.
Yeah.
Even if it's no good, it would be a bestseller immediately.
Yeah. Well, the book ends differently. He didn't actually burn the Misery Returns thing.
I don't believe so.
That's what they were saying. He didn't. In the book, he didn't do that. He still goes on and releases that. And they said he continues on writing the Misery stuff. I'm talking this scene. It's not great.
No, I don't know what is happening.
What happened.
Everything is bad about this scene. There is as far as I remember, and I don't know what the context is, but there is a scene where he hallucinates Annie at the end of the novel, but it's not this. It's a different. in their right mind would say that to him after knowing what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on exactly how much he divulged with the situation.
Yeah, I guess. Because it wasn't Misery the Pig played herself. That's great. And of course we got Liberace here on the end credits. Brilliant.
Gary Kibbe would end up being a John Carpenter cinematographer after Dean Cundy.
Okay.
Second unit photography. David R. Ellis, stunt coordinator. He'd be the director of Final Destination 2.
Okay.
And 4.
Caan VFX, here we go. Kurtzman, Nicotero, Berger, and 2 other guys. All 3 of them worked on it, so...
Yeah.
I can't get over the run that Rob Reiner had.
Oh.
Just the trilogy of When Harry Met Sally, one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest romantic comedy of all time. One of my top 10 favorite movies ever. Then you go to Misery, which is one of the greatest Stephen King adaptations of all time. And then A Few Good Men, which is the standard bearer of courtroom drama.
Yeah.
And those
the quality of people he gets to work with on this thing. Get up to Jack Nicholson.
Right. I mean, you go from... I mean, you start with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, yeah.
And then you go to Caan, and now she was up and coming. She wasn't really...
She was more stage.
Right. And then you go to Cruz and...
Jack
and what's her name? Demi Moore.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I would defy, like, that trilogy of successive films, all different. I would put up against anybody's 3 consecutive films.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, yes, I've loved this movie since I was little. I'm so glad that you also love it.
Oh, yeah, totally. Brilliant piece of work from everyone.
Well, we do have more Stephen King coming.
Oh, yeah, some big stuff.
Some longer films, shall we say?
Much longer. Let's see, we hold out.
So... yeah, I mean, I'm down until we get every last one of them. I do recommend if you haven't seen Stand By Me in a while, go check that out, because it along with Shawshank are probably 2 of the better ones, and most people don't even realize that he wrote them. So, and they came from the same book, by the way. Anyway, yeah, awesome, great job. Love every minute.
Yeah, so guys, thank you very much, and we'll hopefully hear from you in the comments about other great things, and we'll be around soon.
Adios.
Bye-bye.